Welcome to Honest Whisper's first transformation and review. On this video, I'll be transforming for the first time and reviewing Transformers Generations Combiner Wars Mixmaster. He's part of the box set or the gift set released by Hasbro on August 1st, 2015. He is a Voyager class like all the other Constructicons, and he is a cement mixer. Now, he is pretty much, I guess, the most distinctive vehicle just because of this big purple piece right here in the vehicle mode, and you do see his silver parts on the vehicle mode as well. Due to the extra silver parts and, of course, some even black parts that you see on the vehicle, while others might not show on the vehicle but show on the robot mode, well, this actually looks a bit nicer just because you don't get this bland one or two color scheme like a couple of the other Constructicons, like Long Haul for instance, or even Bone Crusher, because he's pretty much all green. So the way it looks, I think the Mixmaster looks cool as a vehicle. Of course, like all the other ones, at least with him, not as much. I don't see any gap issues too much other than right there. Now, on the bottom, I know you don't see the bottom part, but as you can see with the plastic, it's all pretty bland, just green, no extra details, which little bit of black here and there or whatever the case would have made it so much more better and quality better. But I wanted to show you the underside, because even though you can't see the underside, it just kind of adds, I guess, a lack of quality would be the description in this case, because it just makes it feel cheap a little bit. I mean, they could have easily had a little cover here that could have, I don't know if it has to, it could be slightly, it could be permanent, or it could have been something you could have just flipped over. But something simple like that, one little extra piece, or possibly two if you needed the hinge. Otherwise, everything looks good. This doesn't rotate, and nothing here is operative as far as the cement mixer part goes. There's nothing that comes out. Like for instance right here, I guess this is where the cement is supposed to pour out, where this is supposed to. So nothing like that works. Obviously, I wouldn't expect or wanted that to work. Although something like this rotating would have been cool. But again, it's not a big deal to me compared to something like this on the underside. Alright, so vehicle looks okay. As a set with all the Constructicons, I guess it could be pretty fun if you're a kid, just playing constructions. So let me go ahead and start the transformation to robot mode, and he is on the very bottom here. I did go in chronological order, so I'm just gonna have to lay this down since I can't stand it up. And the vehicle mode's alright, so let's see how the robot mode looks. I do like his front on the robot mode. So starting off with step one, it looks like the arms. Looking at it this way, they only show the diagram for one arm, but you're gonna assume they expect you to do that. They expect you to do that for both arms. My thing here is everything's very tight. So I want to see if I can find these little tabs to undo first. Now, as far as the arms go, he does feel very similar to Scrapper. I'm gonna assume there might be a hinge or something. Now, looking at the diagram, it almost looks like it's in an angle, but then maybe it just slides out. And another problem is, I don't know how much it slides out. Now, it looks like it rotates upwards. There it is. So it's not like Scrapper. It kind of is, but Scrapper goes horizontally. This guy, you have to pull him up upwards. So again, this is, they just have a straight arrow going out on the side. And in case like this, I wish they would have drawn a little bit of a curve, or even 2 arrows. You could number it. This could have been arrow 1, and then an arrow 2 would have been the curving upwards. That could have been a little bit better. Okay, second step would be this part, just pulling forward. Now, I do want to examine the diagram. It looks like the purple and the green is where it separates, and that was pretty easy when you pull it right way. Oh, you know what it is? It was the little tabs. Once that unlatched, it was easy. So that was really it. Step 3, you separate these, and then looks like this folds in. Now, looking at the diagram on 5, it looks like there's something that's supposed to flip outwards. Which looks like it's supposed to be his feet. But I don't see anything that's supposed to move. This might be it right here. Yep, there it is. Okay, so now 6, it seems like I'm supposed to rotate outwards, which, or it's this piece, it's rotating back in. So I guess you just rotate it out to pull it out, which could have been done for so many of these hollow parts where it's just no shell. Okay, so once I flip that back in, step 7, I'm bringing this back together again. Okay, you know what I'm doing is the wrong thing. I'm actually doing the Devastator one, which is what I do after the robot. So let me see here, if I could stand this up, keep it shown, because I'm going to assume most of the steps are pretty much the same. So 1 and 2 are the same, and they actually show both arms. So I guess that's why they skipped it on that. And here they do have it the way I asked them to do, which is to pivot the arm forward. So now here I got that rotated out. Where is it? Well, I don't see his feet, so it must be this. Okay, so from here, if I want back everything, so I would probably have to put this part back in. Unfortunately, I have to backtrack. So let me go ahead and just put these pieces back in rather than trying to skip steps or jump ahead. Now this is where we're at, and it's saying I have to flip something forward, so it must be this right here, like that. So that was the difference. And then we separate. This has a hinge where it flips back, and then there's another piece that goes up. That doesn't look right. From 6 to 7, I have this top part, and then there's another part that goes on top of that bag. So I'm trying to see what would flip up, and looks like it's his head. And then you close it back down. That's funny because I actually thought this was his head, but I guess that's how you connect Devastator. It's a nice snap right there. It snaps in pretty nice right there. Okay, so everything looks sturdy. His legs feels very short. And of course, because his sucks, you can't separate it. So since his legs used to be attached, you kind of have to have it angled out. So let me get this instructions out of the way. Sit him down or stand him up. Now his head turns a bit, so that's cool. At least I can now straighten it. Arms, not bad. No, oh well, you know what, he does kind of have an elbow joint, he does, but it looks stupid because if you look from the side, it's like it's just connected by a hinge, so it definitely doesn't look right. And of course, like every other Constructicon, has a hollow arm. So this would have been a case where you could have easily had another plastic piece that could have covered either all of it or half of it. And just like the way, you know, you flip some of these parts, like the way you flip the head back and then put it back in, like they could have easily done that for one of these parts. Like this one, it doesn't even seem like other than for this tab purpose, so I could cover everything but that tab and it would still pretty much be functional. So it's just design and execution. It's just, I have to say, overall a little bit it's like not half effort. That's the best way I could describe it. It's almost like they only put half effort into it, or they did a lot of things like this to like cut cost, which is very cheap. So, and looking at him in robot form, his legs just feels too short, just seems a little bit unproportional with this rest of his body. For instance, his torso just seems way too long, and he's just short-legged. And for his weak wannabe makeshift weapon, basically, let's see how. just looks dumb. I guess that's how his weapon's supposed to be. Which on the other side is all like crap. I mean, it's all really bad looking. And then on, I guess maybe you could put it this way. No, it doesn't fit. So you know this is the only way. It's almost like he's better off without a weapon. Now, or even on this case, he's better off being left-handed so that it looks like you could see him like that. This thing looks funny, like how his on the side, the way this doesn't, you can't lift it up or rotate or anything. And if I'm looking at the end picture or the finished picture, yeah, that's, you leave it like that. So it's, so his back or side looks a little funny. It looks like he has a tail, like he's wearing a bee costume, and it's part of his behind. You know what would have been cool is if maybe if you could rotate this, and this would have been more like facing upwards. So if I rotated upwards like that, that would have been cool. I don't know if they could have maybe have this somehow separate, rotate, and then just kind of attach more towards the back. That could have been cooler too, because this just kind of gets in the way. And even though he does somewhat have leg articulations, although that's more part of his transformation. So you could bend his knee, although his calf is just really too big to make any sense of it, whether if he's kneeling down or standing. And again, it just, the back just gets in the way, so you can't put his legs back any further anyways. So no running motion for Mixmaster. And that's why for me the quality, I mean, it's a Voyager class, but it's more about the size, less about the quality. I have and seen deluxe class that are just way more articulated or detailed. So a bit disappointing here on the robot mode. I would say the vehicle mode was better, but robot mode, one of the more disappointing looking ones. From the front's not too bad, but it's just, he's one of the least functional, and even on the back or the side just looks a little funky. Okay, so I do need to get this back to the vehicle mode. I remember this kind of snaps in here. There we go. And then this goes down. This goes back in for now. And then this one, the legs go back together. And that way I could rotate both at the same time. Get this under, and with that, you know what's funny is his fist doesn't even rotate in. That would have maybe made it look cleaner too in vehicle mode. So I do remember I need to take these out. Although it only shows one side, so but I would think it's symmetrical. Either way, it says just to pull it out, so I don't know if I'm supposed to pull the whole thing out like this, or just the edge. Like that. It's almost like the diagram has it like that. Maybe it's just to pull something out. Oh, you know what it is to rotate the legs, maybe. So, yeah, for now, since I already have these out, I just keep it out of the way. Now, let me go ahead and continue to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So these get tucked back in. Feels like it's tilted. Well, since this is locked in, I guess at least the wheels line up. So I'm looking at the legs, and that's what throws me off. But the wheels line up, so that is everything straight. So I guess that right there, which I don't understand why. Almost looks cleaner without this. It's just to make a little extra little flare. So here it is. This is the end of the Devastator mode, and basically this is his left leg. And I have to say, this looks way more cooler and more solid looking as a leg than Scrapper did as a leg. And Scrapper just felt a bit unstable, especially in the back. I mean, he looked more like a stiletto high-heeled, you know, boot or whatever the case. This one just, I mean, everything just looks sturdy and solid. And I do like how the cement mix is almost like part of the decorations for the leg. So really cool. I do like how the front is like that. Of course, you're not going to see the bottom, but this would have been, I guess, just a little bit more traction or more solid if you're, because again, whether from robot transformation or vehicle, because the one thing that did, I could see why there was nothing here, is because you have to flip this open. But regardless, you could have a little piece here that could maybe fold, like a little piece here that folds in when you have to fold this out. And even that right there, little piece, whether vehicle, even though you can't see it, would have been better. But again, the more I think about it and the more I realize it, it just feels like they did it more for, you know, just cutting cost and just being more cost effective, more profit. That's really what it is, I guess. Well, there you have it. This leg looking cool. And final piece of the Devastator puzzle. Thank you for watching. Until next time, continue eating your vitamin C's and read the King James Version Bible.